One of these three men is Felipe Pomar, the champion surfer of the world. What is your name, please?
My name is Felipe Pomar.
My name is Felipe Pomar.
My name is Felipe Pomar.
Only one of these young men is the real Felipe Pomar. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle on To Tell the Truth. To Tell the Truth is brought to you this evening by Pepto-Bismol, the stomach medication with coatability that spreads like a creamy blanket of relief over your upset stomach. And here is your host, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Good evening, panel.
Good evening, Bud. I'm glad you know.
Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? All right, open up that envelope, if you will. It's in front of you, and follow along with its contents as I read from my copy. I, Felipe Pomar, am a champion surfer. Surfing is the sport of standing balanced on a board about 10 feet long while riding the crest of a wave as it roars in toward the beach. In international surfing contests, it's not enough merely to stay on the board. A surfer piles up a winning score only by riding the biggest waves the longest distance at the greatest speed in the most dangerous part of the wave. Last year, in competition with the best surfers in the world, I did just that and won the title of World's Surfing Champion. Because of my accomplishments on a surfboard, my country honored me with its highest award in the field of sports. Signed, Felipe Pomar. Panel, these three young men all claim to be Felipe Pomar. We'll start the questioning with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Thank you, Bud. Number two, how many waves do they count?
They come in sets.
Yes, but how many waves to a set?
5, 6, or 7.
Thank you. Number three, who's the junior boys surfing champion?
The junior boat where? In California?
No, Hawaii.
In Hawaii is, I don't recall the name right now.
Thank you. Number one, where was this competition held?
In Lima.
Oh. Number three, are you Peruvian?
No, I'm Ecuadorian.
Oh. And number two, are you Peruvian?
I'm from Mexico.
Oh. Well, I'm not so good, too. Oh, now, number one, how high were the waves that day of the contest?
10 feet, 12 feet.
Thank you. Number three, who's Rabbit Kakai?
Rabbit Kai?
Kakai.
Orson Bean.
Number three, who is Rabbit Kakai?
I don't know.
I don't know either, number three. Number two, in the surfer film Bikini Gorilla, I believe it was Tab Hunter executed something called the double wombat. Well, I'm getting too technical. Do any of those stars of those bikini beach pictures do their own surfing? Do you know?
They wouldn't dare, sir.
They do, too.
Do who? Who, Peggy?
Well, I was in Gidget Goes Hawaiian, and we brought our own boards.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right, in Gidget Goes Hawaiian. Number one, what's the greatest thrill? What moment is the greatest thrill in surfing?
I'd say taking the drop on a big wave.
What does that mean exactly, taking the drop?
Catching.
Catching.
Right.
Kitty Carlisle.
You mean on the number one on the way up?
No, on the way down.
That's interesting. Number two, where did you do where did you win your contest?
In Peru.
Number three, who are the judges?
The judges are selected for ex-champions all over the world.
And they sit on the beach. They don't surf along with you.
No, they have to wear special kind of glasses to see far away.
Thank you. Number two, what is the weight of your board?
The weight is anywhere from 30 to 35 pounds.
And it doesn't vary with the size of the man?
It does, yes, ma'am.
But only 5 pounds?
In length and also in weight, yes.
I see. Number one, what are the boards made of?
Plastic foam covered in fiberglass.
Where is Rincon Beach, number three?
Rincon Beach in Santa Barbara, California.
Tom Poston.
Thank you. Where are you from, number one? From Lima.
You are from Peru.
Right.
Number two, I've seen pictures of surfing in Africa. Do you know anything about those conditions there?
Yes, sir. In Africa, there is surfing.
But number 3 is like sensational, right?
Well, they have surfing in South Africa, but it's very dangerous because of the shark.
Yeah, I believe that too. Number 1, what is the most dangerous part of the wave? You say here that greatest speed in the most dangerous part of the wave. What is the most dangerous part, number 1?
That would be the nearest to the breaking wave.
What?
The nearest to the white water.
Nearest to the wave break, where the wave is breaking. That's all we have time for, however. We'll have to find any facts we want later. But for now, and for voting, that's all we have time for. But you do have time to vote. So mark your ballot, if you will, without consultation and without change. Vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will, of course, receive $250 for every incorrect vote. Our ballots all marked? Very well. Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 1. I'd love to ask him more questions about it. It's a fascinating sport. Whoever it is, congratulations.
Peggy.
I voted for number 1 because I can just see him on a surfboard in my mind's eye.
Orson.
I'm one of the losers.
Well, I really figured it was number 1, but at the last moment I looked at number 3 and we had the moment of truth. He kind of grinned and a terrible feeling came over me that it could be number 3, even though he didn't know the name of the champ or something. I don't know that Peggy knows any of these things. Yes, anyway, so I voted for number 3.
Kitty Carlisle.
I voted for number 1 on the basis of his answers and the fact that he looks very sportif to me, as though he really cared about this kind of thing, yes.
Very well, there we have it, with the votes all in and the minds solidly made up. We'll find out now which one of these 3 gentlemen, in truth, is Felipe Pomar. Will the real Felipe Pomar please stand up? Thank you very much, Felipe. Thank you. Incidentally, Felipe is a man of many parts. He's not only world surfing champion, but he's studying psychology at Church College in Hawaii and is also fashion consultant for Robert Bruce sportswear manufacturers. Good boy. Number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Nico Carant, and I'm an Eastern representative for Universal Ignition Company of Chicago, Illinois.
Thank you. And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do, sir?
My real name is Raul Blumflor. I'm a reservation agent for Trans-Caribbean Airways.
Taking the score, we found that the panel started out reasonably well tonight, having 3 correct. That leaves only 1 incorrect, but that's worth $250, gentlemen. And along with that, of course, goes our sincere thanks for being with us tonight. Goodbye, and God bless you. And now let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Basima Al-Hussein. My name is Basima Al-Hussein. My name is Basima Al-Hussein.
Follow along again with your copies of this one, if you will, panel. I, Basima Al-Hussein, am the wife of the present ambassador to the United States from Kuwait. Kuwait is a small, independent Middle Eastern country with an area about the same size as Connecticut. My country is about 95% desert, and from under its shifting sands comes its wealth, the world's richest deposits of petroleum. As a matter of fact, last year, Kuwait produced enough oil to supply the necessary gasoline to drive each of the 60 million cars in the United States from Maine to California. The citizens of Kuwait enjoy free medical care, free education, and even free telephone service. To make the paradise complete, in Kuwait, nobody pays any taxes. Signed, Basima Al-Hussein. Panel, each of these 3 ladies claims to be Basima Al-Hussein, and we'll start the cross-examination with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Thank you, Bud. Oh, I'm delighted to meet you, whoever you are. I've always wanted to go to Kuwait because it enjoys such a marvelous reputation. due, I think, to the enlightenment of your ruler. By the way, number one, what is the ruler called?
Sheikh Sabah As-Salim.
Thank you. Number two, is it true that you have a kind of marvelous gymkhana every year where the tribesmen come and do wonderful things with the horses? And
Oh, yes.
how many people come to that?
Well, most of the population, which is not very big, really.
Number three, do they have Bedouins and Tuaregs in the desert there?
Yes, Bedouins are nomads, and they live in tents, and they do come to Kuwait.
And they do their wonderful horsemanship.
Yes.
Number one, how come this ruler got to be so enlightened?
He's a wise man.
Did he go to school in Western Europe?
No, in the Middle East only.
Number three, does he have many wives?
Tom
No.
Poston.
Was Kuwait, number three, was Kuwait ever affiliated with a Western European power like Britain or
It
France?
was under the protectorate of England, yes.
Of England, until when, number two?
Until 1961.
Very
Kuwait
recently.
gets-
Number one, just as a matter of historical curiosity, was Kuwait always arid and desert? Was it always sandy soil, or was it ever an earthly paradise like the Tigris and Euphrates Valley?
No, it was always a desert.
Always a desert, as far as you know. Number three, do you know, historically speaking, when the people first settled there?
Yes, roughly around 1756.
A.D., B.C.? Which before Christ or after Christ?
I don't know.
I don't either. No. Number two, how many people would you say there are in Kuwait? You said it was not very large.
500,000, close to 500,000 people.
That's a lot of people to come to one fete. Number one, do they all come in and see these festivals and things?
Well, most of them, I would say.
Thank you.
Peggy Cass.
Thank you. Number two, do you have a university in Kuwait?
No, we don't, but we are building one.
Well, number three, you have a very high standard of education. Who pays for this? Does the students go abroad to study?
Yes, they do.
Number one, who pays their tuition and all that stuff? Is the state?
The state pays for every student, yes.
Isn't that wonderful? I'd like to go to Kuwait myself. Number two, what body of water is Kuwait bounded by?
By the Arabian Gulf.
Thank you. Number three, is Kuwait oil go through Anglo-American Oil Company, or what oil company takes the oil?
Through Gulf Oil and British Petroleum, which is the Kuwait Oil Company.
Thank you. Number one, what are the names of those little boats that puts out into the Arabian Gulf? They have a name.
Dhow.
Dhow. I always want to know how to spell it. Dhow. I always thought it was Dhow. Dhow. Now I know. Okay. Number two, how many hospitals do you have in Kuwait?
Well, there's one main hospital. It has all the different sections for children, for...
Thank you.
Horse and Bean.
Yes, there's an old Arabian expression, number one, that a camel is a horse put together by a committee. Do you have camels in Kuwait?
Well, you do see some, of course, in the desert.
Yes. I read there was a thing in the New York Times, a little magazine put out by the country of Kuwait. It was absolutely fascinating, and I learned a lot. Number two, I can't think of a single thing. Number two, you have more millionaires than Texas, not in numbers, but percentage-wise, right?
Yes.
Well, who collects the garbage, number two? Do you have to import people to do these things?
No, I suppose, well, everybody has their own job to do.
Number three.
And there are some people who like to collect garbage.
I suppose. I don't know. I might think of it myself. Number three, it's all air-conditioned, practically. All your main buildings are air-conditioned,
Right, we're the best air-conditioned country in the world.
Where do you get the water?
That's it. Time for you now to mark your ballots. So please mark them at once, without change, without any consultation. Just vote, if you will. And vote for number one, number two, or number three. All ballots marked? All right. Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, I was puzzled by the year and so forth, but I figured that what does a Muslim know about A.D. and B.C. and all that stuff? So I voted for number three. I can see those beautiful eyes looking over the top of a gossamer veil.
Peggy.
Well, I just thought all three of you were simply wonderful. But number two has blue eyes and a lot You would expect her to have brown eyes, but she has blue eyes, and I figured maybe she's a Berber, so I voted for blue.
Orson.
Hey, Berber. Yes. All right. I voted for number 3 because, I don't know. I can just picture her living in a fine, lush house with 1 million servants, like all us millionaires do.
Kitty Carlisle.
I voted for number 1 because I can see her eyes peering over a yashmak. And furthermore, she has a kind of a grasp, I think. It seemed more easy for her to explain how it goes on in Kuwait. So I voted for number 1.
Well, that's widely split. First time you've done that in quite a little while. Let's see how it works out, shall we? Because we have all the votes in and the miles made up. Let's see now which of these 3 lovely ladies is, in truth, Bassima Al-Ghussein. Will the real Bassima Al-Ghussein please stand up?
It's little one.
Good job. Well done. Well done. Number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Irene Bogoni, and I'm an opera singer.
And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Parichesh Temurtash, and I'm a supervisor of dancing at Arthur Murray Studios.
Well, ladies, in checking the score, you did the best so far tonight, certainly. There were 3 incorrect votes. That's 3 times $250 for a total of $750 that you get to divide. And we thank you very much for gracing our show with your loveliness. Good night and God bless you. And now let's meet our 3rd team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Rosemary Smith. My name is Rosemary Smith. My name is Rosemary Smith.
Panel, you have copies of this story. Follow along with your copies as I read from mine. I, Rosemary Smith, used to be a model in Great Britain. 4 years ago, I quit the world of fashion and embarked upon a far more dangerous career, driving automobiles in long-distance endurance rallies. I have competed both here and abroad, and just last year was voted the outstanding female rally driver in Europe. I also drive against men, and in 1965 won Holland's famous Tulip Rally. Recently, I completed a grueling 4,000-mile-long endurance run in Canada. For 18 hours a day, for 7 straight days, we bounced along gravel back roads from Vancouver to Quebec. In a field of 68 drivers, only 7 men came in ahead of me, and I was first among the women. Signed, Rosemary Smith. So, panel, these 3 ladies all claim to be Rosemary Smith. We'll start with Tom Poston. Tom?
Well, I'm so curious. They look so feminine. Number 3, doesn't it take any strength to do this job that you do?
Not really, no.
Why? What does number 2? It takes strong men to do it. Don't you have to be stronger than you look? I mean,
no, I don't think so.
You don't look weak or anything, but number 1, you don't look strong enough to handle a car. How big is the car?
It's a baby car. It's a small car.
Well, women are awfully good with babies, I know that. But you think you could handle, like, for instance, a truck or a big...
Yes, I can.
You want to meet afterwards? I'll meet you outside. Number 3, where did you get your training? You don't learn this modeling.
No, I'm from London, and I started off at a club there, Stockwell Drivers Club. And from there, I got the RAC rally driving license.
Thank you. Mercy.
Peggy Cass.
Thank you. Number 2, do you have to have a special sort of license to drive in rallies?
Yes, you must have a special license.
Here, in this country, too?
Yes.
Oh. Number 1, what is the Mille Miglia?
It's a race in Italy.
Thank you. What kind of a car, number 1, did you drive in this? I mean, it was a baby car, but a baby, what kind?
I didn't... In the Mille Miglia?
No, here, in Vancouver.
Oh, no, it was a Sunbeam Imp.
Sunbeam Imp, it does sound like a baby car. Number 3, did you have a companion with you in the car?
Yes, I had a co-driver with me.
Number 2, if you drove for 18 hours, where did you spend the night?
We had different night stops all across Canada. We had a few hours off each night.
Thank you. Number 3, how do you get paid for doing this? I mean, you under contract to a car company or?
Yes, I work for Roots Motor Company.
Oh, thank you.
Orson Bean.
Number 2, you had 18 hours a day for 7 days, and you had 6 hours to kill in between. What would you do? Just kind of sit around? Or would you zonk right off into a dead sleep, or were you too keyed up to sleep easily?
No, we spend some of the time eating.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time we
Well, the
slept.
different things that you need, yeah. All right, number 1, where is the 5,000-mile race, the famous one in America?
In America?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't follow racing in America.
Well, this is a worldwide thing. It's going to be televised.
Indianapolis
Yeah,
you're talking about?
that's it.
Yeah,
There, you
Indy.
see, I don't ask
Yeah.
hard questions. Number 2, what is double clutching?
Oh, that's very technical. It's something to do with the accelerator and the clutch and
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 3, you said you had a co-driver. Was it also a lady?
Yes, it was.
Number 2, if it doesn't take any strength, why didn't you come in ahead of the men?
I put the car off the road.
Oh, you did? And you had to get back on again?
Yes.
Otherwise, you'd have won against the men as well?
We would have finished higher up, yes.
Number 1, when you do this sort of work, does everybody have the same hours off, or could you sleep less than other people and get a head start in the morning?
No, everyone has the same driving time.
I see. They have to do it at the same time. Number 3, why did you quit modeling to do this?
Well, it was always a hobby of mine, so and my father was in the business.
Oh, number 2, when you take your special driving test, do they have a skid pan that they put you on in England and that kind of thing that truck drivers have to do?
Yes, you can go to this if you want to.
And did you do that?
No.
That's it. Time for you now to skid to a stop and mark your ballots, if you will. Mark them at once, without change, without any consultation. Votes now, if you will, for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Ballots all marked. Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
Well, I voted for number 1. I must say that very often those ladies who undertake to do men's sports and things are look very mannish, but gee, these girls are all darling. I thought it was number 1 because she was answered questions with a certain equanimity and a certain. Sorry, friends.
Peggy Cass.
Well, I voted for number 2 because I think she looks like a real English model. You know, you said uses lots of lavender, you know, the typical English beauty, so I voted for 2.
Orson.
I was sure it was 2, but she threw me off by saying that double clutching was a very technical thing, and it really isn't. It's just well, it's when you drive a truck. In the Army, I wrecked well, I don't want to go into the details, but it cost the taxpayers a substantial amount of money. I voted for number 3 because she threw those names around like Roots and the Shaftesbury Motor Club and the Battersea Dogs Home and all that good stuff.
Kitty.
I voted for number 2 on the basis of her looking truly like a lovely English model, and it seemed to me that she would be strong enough to have an endurance test like this.
Oh, very well. That's the second time tonight you've had a widely split vote. As widely split as 4 can vote for 3, I guess. So let's find out now which one of these 3 charming young ladies in truth is Rosemary Smith. Will the real Rosemary Smith please stand up? Thank you very much. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Sheila Matthews, and I'm an executive secretary. I'm currently between jobs.
Between executives. Number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Ann Chancer, and I demonstrate Polaroid land cameras, and I've never driven a car in my life.
Well, in checking the score, you too did well. There were 2 incorrect votes and 2 correct. For the 2 incorrect, at $250 each, that's a total of $500, ladies, and we thank you very much. For the second time tonight, our show has been so beautifully graced. Good night, and God bless you. I'm sure you know that giving the mentally ill their rightful chance for a normal life is the goal toward which your chapter of the National Association for Mental Health is constantly striving. So help them achieve this goal by giving generously, please. Good night, panel.
Good night, Bud.
Good night to all of you. See you, of course, next week at this time, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon, the daytime show. But in the meantime, don't you forget to tell the truth. Good night.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
Walter Cronkite reports directly from Cape Kennedy when CBS News begins its selective Gemini 9 coverage with the launches in color tomorrow morning.
To Tell the Truth has been brought to you by the Corning Glass Works, makers of Corningware cookware, Ventura tableware, and Pyrex brand products. This program was pre-recorded.